What'd you get at the grocery, Mr. Josh?
Oh, the essentials. Milk, cans of ravioli.
Hell yeah. The adult life is real and calling.
Yeah, so.
That is the diet of champions. All right, let's go over it then. It was Josh's week. No, hey, what's going on, Mr. Josh? What happened this week?
Well, not so much. Today I did trade in my 500 gig PS4 and got the 1 terabyte.
Oh, the regular terabyte or the pro terabyte?
I didn't have enough for the Pro, unfortunately. But unfortunately, I think now I'm realizing I might have accidentally left one of my games in there, so I'm probably going to have to call them tomorrow.
Oof,
oh, no.
That's awkward. Hopefully what game was it?
Oh, MK11.
Oh, no, that's it.
Oh, while I'm recording this, let me just install that shit, and I can't find the disc. So I'm like, fuck, I think I left it in the in the console.
It's one of those things where it's just like, if it had been like Senran Kagura, I don't think they would keep it. But the fact that it's MK11, that's a little worrisome.
Yeah.
They might actually want that one.
Right.
But, yeah.
I'm just
what else? What else happened, Mr. Josh? That was an exciting story to start the day already.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Binge watched a lot of What Happened. That was...
Oh, dude, What Happened's a good series.
Yeah, it's really good. That's actually how I learned about the Bethesda thing, so I saw he tweeted that out.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it's nice to see Matt get some love, because even though at one point Matt was the boss man, I really don't know how much love he was getting. In fact, I recently got curious about that, so I checked each of their subs on YouTube anyways, and Pat is actually the least subbed on YouTube. Matt is the second most, and then Wooly is the most, but to be fair, Wooly is really in there in terms of, like, he's made some pretty mainstream appearances, and especially in the FGC, he's pretty in there. Like, he's constantly invited to commentate MK tournaments and whatnot. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, so Wooly, I kind of not surprised he's the top one, but I really was surprised that Matt was the second most. But that's good, though. He's got some good original content, and it's to the point where I see why he split from the boys, but I don't see it as a bad thing. Like, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, What Happens a good series. What else?
Oh, yeah. Aside from that, I don't know. Been watching some random episodes of Star Trek.
Are you excited for new Picard?
Yes, actually, yeah. That looks really interesting.
So, speaking of Wooly and Pat and all of them, even though you're talking about Matt, they recently talked about the Picard thing on the podcast, and I found like what they were saying interesting, and I kind of wanted your thoughts on that, because I forgot that I casually like Star Trek. Like, I've seen a few good episodes of the show. Casey, my friend, used to be really into it, and he would share with some cool Kirk episodes with me, and then I saw, TNG and a few other things, and of course the modern movies, which are pretty removed from what Star Trek's really about. But do you think, because just a while ago didn't Patrick Stewart legit like swear off ever playing Picard again? Like, this was like years ago, but didn't he? I believe he did.
I'm not certain on that one.
I want to say.
I know it's a role that's very iconic for him.
Mm-hmm. I want to say.
I know Steve Shives did a video about it, but I don't remember if he actually like mentioned Picard's actual, or like Patrick Stewart's like actual feelings. But I know he did bring up something like, in kind of the political climate that we're in right now, we could use some more Picard in our lives.
And that's true, right? And that's actually, so Pat and Wooly were talking about how one of the things they feel had a lot to do with it too is kind of like he heavily hits the con circuit, at least the major cons, and perhaps kind of that con fatigue of having to hear about it all the time kind of makes him want to be like, I also heard that one of the things too, at least from, again, what I heard, is that he was originally opposed to the idea, and then apparently he saw the script and it was that good where he was just like, okay, this I gotta do. Like, this is actually a pretty good... we don't know if it's like a good farewell. I don't know if I could say that yet. We'll see what the movie actually goes. But apparently, when Stewart saw the script, it was that good where it made him go back on his word, basically. So that's good to hear in a way. because I don't know, Patrick Stewart seems true to his word. I don't see him as the type to constantly, it's not like Kiss, who's retired 8 times already. Like,
yeah.
I think should those have been his words when he said he didn't plan on ever reprising the role again, I believe him, and I think that he really wasn't going to, and then again, he read this script and there was something in there that made him go, damn, like, I gotta dust off Picard again. So I just wasn't sure if you heard anything about that, so that's all I was curious about. But, yeah, that is exciting, anything else, sir?
Finally got around to watching that one, with that reboot they did of She-Ra, because I kept hearing so much about it, so I finally decided to check it out. It's pretty good.
Okay, good. I was gonna say I still haven't got to it, so that's good to hear.
Yeah, the writing's pretty good in my opinion. Lots of good humors.
Studio did anything notable? I wasn't sure of the studio that worked on it.
I'm not certain. I know there's something that I think one of the lead directors or animators might have previously worked on Steven Universe. I think. I don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But I think they used to do something with Cartoon Network, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, that's cool. Alrighty. Miss Mallory, what's going on with you?
Well, it was really busy this week. My friend's wedding was this weekend, so...
It happened.
It did, and it's over. And, I mean, now I'm just like, thank gosh. Like,
the marriage is over or the wedding's over?
No, the wedding. Just the wedding. So pretty much my week has been doing absolutely nothing other than, like, work.
Which is fantastic when you can do nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, other than work.
It was work and then, planning for the wedding, getting all that stuff ready. Friday was extremely busy because we had to have all of our nails done.
Even the groom.
Yeah. His nails were fantastic.
He had the most nail art.
Yeah. He had little penguins on him. But then the wedding went off, which was awesome because, like, even though there were a little bit of hiccups and, like, not everything was exactly where it needed to be, like, super hand-on-ish, where, like, we knew where it was a lot of me running up and down stairs and being like, where is this? But it finally came, and it's over, and, I mean, I saw the happy couple today, and they are all giggly and all in love, so that's awesome. And then haven't really been able to work on any of my stuff this week just because of the wedding. But I did get some baller-ass nails done.
So there you go.
Right? Like
that translates really well into an audio podcast, but she was showing the nails to the microphone. So now you guys know.
They are baller. You can see them on my Instagram.
There you go.
So, I mean, there's that. And then I got to sleep today, so that was nice.
Isn't that always nice when you actually do get that time?
Right.
I hate it when you have to manage, like, do I want to sleep or do I want to be productive today? That's the worst.
Like, my mom asked me what I was doing today, and I was like, absolutely nothing. Like,
and I plan on keeping it that way.
I plan on not doing anything. And then I had to run some errands, and I was really excited because I went to DQ, and I was going to buy a shake with some fries. And Josh, guess what I didn't get?
You didn't get the shake.
Damn it.
No, you're wrong. I didn't get the fries.
You had a 50-50 chance, and you whiffed.
They gave me a shake, and they were like, I, like, waited, right? And they closed the window.
To me, that's one of the and when it comes to first world problems, that's probably one of the most, like, irritating ones where it's just like, because the thing is, right, your meal, right, most of us, unless we have a problem, usually eat when we're hungry, right? So to finally be like, I'm going to sate this, and especially if you're eating at a restaurant where you consider treating yourself, and then they fuck it up, I think that's one of the, in terms of minuscule bullshit problems, to me, that's one of the worst ones to have. Like, that meal you were really looking forward to, like, a component of it missing or they dropped the ball. So, fuck you, DQ.
All the way over here, I was like,
you're not a sponsor.
Damn it. I just wanted some fries. Like, that's all I've been craving all day.
Yep. Anything else?
No, not yet.
Alrighty. Okay, I'm going to try to do this quick because I don't want to spend an hour doing the podcast.
Patrick?
My week was it was not very interesting, actually. I just worked a lot because I've been doing, like, 7-day stretches, so that's always annoying. But I recently, of course, got a new laptop, as I've been talking on some social medias about, And here's the thing. It's the first time I've had a gaming caliber thing since my gaming computer, which I built, a long time ago. So, the last time I had an actual gaming-capable PC, and not just the little gaming I did on my Surface Pro, which could still run stuff like Skyrim, so that's not awful. But it's the first gaming PC I've had that runs Windows 10. I did not know, and of course some people had this experience, some people didn't. But there are some compatibility bullshit issues sometimes with gaming on Windows 10, with older games, of course, running Bethesda games primarily, which Bethesda is on the docket, of course, for wonderful things like usual. DLL files just missing for no reasons, stuff like that. It's just stuff where I'm just like, wow, and I thought, Windows 7 was fine. To me, that was the last one where I don't really have too many qualms about it. I used Windows 8 briefly, but all I know is all iterations of Windows 10 that I've used, although I wouldn't say I bitched as much as some other people, I had more problems in Windows 10 than I've probably had since Vista. Oh. So it was just one of those things. It's just it's thank goodness I'm tech savvy, because I was talking to some people about it, and my more casual friends who buy everything pre-built, which this was pre-built, but they maybe not have known how to fix this DLL issue, how to find DLL files or running anything like that. And I was just wouldn't that have been annoying? I was y'all probably would have just thought your computer was broke. It was for some people, they would have just been oh fuck, I can't run games, that sucks, and just think their computer wasn't capable or whatever. But I don't know, to me that was an interesting discovery. I started playing Fallout 4, modding it as much as I can. The PC can run it on medium high, which honestly isn't too bad for a laptop. The last gaming laptop I had was, I don't know, it's just one of those things where with pre-built PCs, the one thing you'll discover very quickly is how you can, when you get to the year of, because PC games move so quickly on the high end, that you realize that you get to where gaming can cap you out really fast. For example, Fallout 4 is 5 years old already? I think. Yeah. And I'm already at the point, and this laptop is maybe 6 months old, if even, and it already, again, it's a mid-low spec, so it's not it's super high. I got it more for the podcast and video editing and stuff, which it does that without a hitch. It runs Vegas Pro 14 no problem. But still, it's one of those things where it does have gaming capability. It's an AMD build, and it's one of those things where it's still, again, a 5-year-old game already, and it's a good-looking 5-year-old game, of course, and it still looks fantastic on medium high, but still, it's one of those things where it's just wow, in just a 5-year-old game is already kind of making this laptop chug, which laptops, obviously, unless you're going for a $1,200, full-on, Acer Nitro 7 or something, isn't really, a lot of people would say it's not worth it. But again, this is work laptop primarily, gaming secondary, and I'm very happy with it in that sense. So
good.
That's pretty much that. Okay, so what did we talk about? Oh, right. Invader Zim Netflix, vague trailer. I mean, I like Invader Zim. It's fine. It was, nothing really happened in the trailer. It was just Zim laughing. So that was the thing.
Yeah, I think I might have seen it. I know you linked it. I don't know. But I have seen a trailer of it. I didn't get a chance to watch the one you showed.
It's all good.
I remember I saw something about it, and it doesn't really give much.
No, it doesn't. It's just him. It's him and Gurr laughing. That's the actual quote unquote teaser. It's more teaser. That's it. I know.
So I read something on it, because obviously I'm a really big Invader Zim fan. You can't
Invader
see it.
Bitch.
You can't see it, but right now I have a Gurr tattoo on my leg.
Oh, you do have a Gurr tattoo. You didn't just draw that. No. You didn't just draw that on before you got here.
No. It's been here for about 6 months now.
Nice. Well, hey, there's proof there. If anyone was going to pull a meme and say, oh, yeah, I'm a big Invader. Oh, she has a tattoo.
Yeah, come at me, bro. No, so I was talking to one of my other friends, and he was telling me that they're changing the faces in some of them.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that. The humans?
Yeah, to be more chibi, the new Thundercats. Oh. So I'm a little worried, because apparently it starts out really well done, the old animation, yeah. and then it slowly moves into the more
weird.
chibi
I don't know how I feel about that.
Right?
Could you imagine if the later Thundercats series started off like the OG one, and then like by episode 3 was just all of a sudden the current style?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
So I really want to see it just so I can like be like, no, it didn't happen. But I'm also like kind of nervous because I'm like, oh,
Netflix?
don't do that.
I would say Netflix in general has a decent track record, but it's not an infallible one.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
for example, their animation track record is not necessarily as pristine as their live action stuff.
Yeah. And we also saw how messed up the Teen Titans got.
And we'll also see Cowboy Bebop where Ayn is a husky. Wait, what is Ayn? A husky now instead of a corgi?
I think so.
Or it's not the right breed. I know that much. It's not a corgi anymore. Ayn is going to be another kind of dog.
Which makes me upset.
To me, a simple detail like that would have been one of the easiest errors to avoid, I would have thought. But
yeah,
I guess not. You, Mr. Josh, big Invader Zim memer, are you excited?
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't watched Invader Zim in such a long time.
Yeah.
I think I still have like one of the first DVDs.
Nice.
I'm curious to see how it'll go.
Yeah, all we can do is cross our fingers. Next non-gaming news and the final non-gaming news on the docket. I'm going to say my opinions last just because I have pretty strong opinions about this one. But Zombieland 2, that trailer dropped this week. What did you think, Josh Mallory? Josh first.
Okay. I mean, I really liked Zombieland, the first one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I loved it too.
I'm probably gonna watch it, regardless of if I see it in theaters or if I end up waiting. I'm gonna watch it, and it'll probably be good. I highly doubt it's gonna be a shit film.
Mm-hmm.
I only feel like, I mean, the zombie craze is pretty much gone.
Okay,
So
wow. Okay,
I
yeah,
feel
no,
like
you're
capitalize on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mallory.
Like, yeah, the zombie hype's over with. I mean, I think Walking Dead is still going on, and I don't hear anybody talking about it anymore.
It's not good, and then B, saying it's a zombie-related thing, you have to be reminded of every 8 episodes where they actually show one.
About the drama.
It's really
well,
bad.
I stopped watching after the second season because I hated the second season so
yeah,
much.
Same here. For me, the second was the last one I watched. Now, my parents are the type who are like, I'm going down with the ship. And so they finished Game of Thrones, they're current with Walking Dead. So it's one of those things where if shit hits the fan, they're just like, look, we started this already, we wasted time, we're just gonna waste all the time. And so, but what I've seen from them in the latest season of Walking Dead is really bad. Like, it's a bunch so in these types of shows, the thing I care about the least is the humans or the non-action things. And that is pretty much all it is now just the drama.
Ew.
There was this guy in one of the episodes, this was probably a few seasons ago, but he looked like this woolly looking guy was like the king of a thing. Like, I don't know, I was just like, what is happening in this fucking show? Yeah, no bueno. I wasn't really crazy about that. But that is zombies. But yeah, no, so Zombieland, should be decent. Miss Mallory, what did you think about the first Zombieland?
See, I loved Zombieland.
Mm-hmm.
I think me and my grandpa quoted that for a good 3 years after it came out.
Mm-hmm.
He was still telling me on the phone nut up or shut up, and I was like, thanks, Grandpa, love you. So when I saw the trailer, it brought back that memory,
because that line is literally in the trailer.
At well, even the whole even before they said it, okay. I was already saying that to my mom, and unfortunately, my grandpa went to see it with me when he was still here, and now he's not here anymore.
Right.
So it's a little hard, but I'm gonna watch it. I don't think they're gonna mess it up. I really think it's gonna be good. Just because the cast they have.
At least it's the original.
Yeah.
They should have just replaced someone with Don Cheadle with somebody, but I mean that
but I mean,
they should have been Woody Harrelson's character should have been Don Cheadle, and they should have just kept going on like nothing happened.
Yes.
I do wish that was a thing.
So I'm ready for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. All right, my thoughts. I hope the movie's fine. The trailer. Maybe I just hate everything now, and I'm just super cynical about everything. And I feel this way when I hear everyone say those thoughts, and then I get to my turn, and I'm just like, now I just feel like I'm just shitting on it. But if it's fair for me to say, is that the trailer wasn't inherently bad, but I don't feel I wasn't impressed either. Of course, that's just a personal feeling and opinion. But also, maybe it's because I did enjoy the original film so much that I just didn't feel nothing really stuck out. I felt that, like Josh was saying about the zombie craze being a little outdated, I think that the humor also sounded like it would have come out a year or two after the film, not however long it's been since that film. A long time.
6 years?
Something like that. 6 or 7 years, maybe. And I just felt some of the humor was just like, I get it. Like, Woody Harrelson hates the hippie guy. And then the humor where the guy goes, do I look like the type that has weed? Oh, I do. And I was just like... Now, if Tommy Wiseau had been that guy, I think that we would have had a different film on our hands.
Oh, man.
But he's not, and so... Again, did it look terrible? No. But I guess when I saw the first one... I guess I liked the first one so much that I was hoping to be so excited by a sequel. Again, they got the original cast and everything, but I guess the trailer just fell flat for me, only because there was no real scene in the trailer, because when you see a trailer, even if the movie ends up being shit, there's at least a scene in the movie, even if it doesn't appear in the actual movie, or this trailer rather, that doesn't appear in the real movie, where you're just like, oh, the trailer when it did that part. All I remember was not, for me anyways, not getting that scene where I was just like, oh my god, I'm gonna watch a movie just to see fucking Samuel Jackson and The Rock jump off a building.
Yeah.
Like...
And it came out 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I just feel like too little too... So some people say better late than never. I feel in this case, never may have been better. But we'll see when it actually comes out. Again, I feel the movie... You okay there, Josh? It's having a big...
Yeah, just some asshole driving their motorcycle.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was like, Josh is having a big problem there. He's got mad gas. But yeah, again, so not shitting on it entirely. I just am very like... Like, guys, it's a little late. You should have just canceled this and worked on something else. But that's just, again, personal, like, unimpressness of it. But I would, again, not saying the movie's going to be shit. I think it'll be fine.
For a person like me, like, zombies will probably always, even if the craze is over, like, it's still a big part of my life. Like, I still think about, like, what if the zombie apocalypse happened?
There's a lot of fans. There's a lot of fans of zombies, and I think that's why this genre stays alive, even if Half-Life 3 will never come out. Okay, so let's see. Getting into the news, Kotaku put out a bit of a dicey article, which I actually was somewhat impressed with the balls of it in our era of trying to talk about this. It's definitely worth a read. Like usual in the podcast notes, I will link it so you guys can check it out there. But basically, it was an interesting article that addressed body image in video games. But the thing I like about it is it talked about the separation of the look of the body itself and sexualizing a pretty person. So a lot of people's take on body positivity and body imagery is always, why is Lara Croft in good shape? She should look like an average person. No, because an average person wouldn't be scaling mountains no problem and doing whatever else, not to mention, but staying away from that though, basically what they were saying is basically a fit girl in good shape doesn't have to be or inherently sexualized. For example, Lara Croft in the current series, even though the last game was kind of lame, she's very beautiful. Mm-hmm. She's in good shape. But I wouldn't say she's a hyper sexy character. And because of that, I don't think that the studio made a character that makes, like, I feel like if you're conscious to the point where this character's making you, because it talked about, certain characters are making girls question their looks or making girls feel bad. And the only reason I harp on that is because they did specifically talk about girls in general. They weren't talking about the guys 300 versus your small peepee in the article. So they were just primarily talking about, and Lara Croft, of course, was the main example, having been a main stage, main female who went through several overhauls since her debut in 1996. So with that being the case, I just personally, again, we're gonna have to tiptoe around this because I'm already gonna get shit for even bringing this up, but I felt that it was an interesting read, saying that it is very important that we do remove what, just because a girl is attractive doesn't inherently make the content sexualized. Mm-hmm. It doesn't necessarily mean that the game is doing an unrealistic portrayal of women. Even there's gorgeous women. Mm-hmm. There's gorgeous women in shape. To say that she's unrealistic just because she doesn't look like the average person is not. I don't think that that's a fair thing all the time to say that, you know, every male or female protagonist should look like the average Joe, because I wouldn't want to probably play half these games. But that's me. What do you guys, again, in a very fair, calm way, you know, not getting too into it, how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel that a good-looking woman in a video game protagonist doesn't always have to be considered over-sexualizing the game, as long as the context of the game doesn't over-sexualize it? You know, like, I think that's fair, but... Or do you not think that's possible?
I don't. Did you want to go first on this one, Mallory?
Well, being the only female in the room.
I'm glad we have.
I know where I want to go. But
okay, I feel like having a female is actually going to get a little heat off us a bit, but go on.
So for me, I've never looked at video game characters and been like, and felt bad about myself. I know me and my sister, we are two very different body types. She's taller and bigger. I'm shorter and smaller. But even growing up, like, we never took the video game girls as, like, that's what we wanted to be. Like, I wanted Chun-Li's thighs. Like, because I wanted to be able to kick the crap out of people.
Goals.
Right? Like, I never really cared about the over-sexualized bit of it. But, I mean, I looked at the Lara Croft, and, yeah, I honestly think she looks like a badass, like she always does. And... I mean, I have seen where it's, like, over-sexualized, but, I mean, I kind of think about when I was, like, 15 and all my guy friends were playing the game on the, like, PS1, I think the very first one came out.
Correct.
And they were like, she's so hot. And I'm like, she is literally a cartoon. Like, I've never found it, like, something that... Because some of them are unrealistic, but that's also because they're cartoons. Like, they bring up anime girls a lot and how they're unrealistically overly sexualized. It's a cartoon. I've never really been in that frame of mind where it's like, oh, I need to change my life to look like these girls.
Right.
Just because, like, I'm awesome in general. So, but, like, it's never been a thought. Like... Then we probably shouldn't have muscular guys playing in Call of Duty.
Right.
I mean, I kind of see it from that point of view.
I do a lot. And again, especially in today's society, it's really hard to talk about this without being like, oh, you cis Asian male, you're just mad.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I do feel it. Again, if the girl is attractive, that doesn't inherently make it sexualized. Now, if the game is big booty slappers, right, and then the main protagonist chick is supposed to be, the description is strong, independent woman, but the whole game is just chasing after her and hitting that ass, I can see there being some controversy around that game, and this now is the sexual depiction of a unrealistic situation where you're actually glorifying a grotesque act towards a female. That would be over-sexualizing.
Yeah,
I think Extreme Beach Volleyball 3, that is hyper-sexualizing women.
I mean, Dead or not even that good.
And that's the thing that sucks about
Dead or Alive is one of the ones that got the biggest flack of their characters.
It got a lot, and it's a bit ironic because Josh and I have played the series, and the game has progressively gotten better in terms of mechanics. I didn't play much of 6, so I can speak on that, but 5 was great. And a lot of the females there, if they had toned down the jiggle physics, or if they had toned down the sick fantasy costumes that they gave them, a lot of those girls were badasses.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, again, that is a case where I will admittedly be like, these are hypersexualization of a woman. Lara Croft, on the other hand, at least later on, in her early years, they gave her unnecessary double Ds. They did all sorts of stuff where, wow, a chick would not be... She'd hit herself in the face trying to swing across that branch with tits like that. Like, to me, that would be like... I saw that. To me, Lara Croft did grow up. The devs grew up. And I feel like she hasn't been hypersexualized since, like, Angel of Darkness, which was, like, early 2000s.
Like, when... Because, I mean, if you look at it over the span of video game lifetime, right? You know, you also have to take into account how old these people were when they first started working on these. So, like... I know some of my friends went into game development at like 17, 16, 18. So they're still like...
horn dogs.
Yeah. But I mean, over time they did clean it up. Like Lara Croft definitely now looks like someone who just literally works out all the time, and she looks damn good.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, I would not want them to put me in a video game and be like, hey, like she is the epitome of working out, because let's be real, the most workout I do a week is probably like running to and from my car and making sure I have groceries. But like for her physique, it looks great, and now she's not overly sexualized. So I mean, I really don't understand why they're like getting mad if they're going forward. You
believe that, and it's going to sound dumb because people are going to say I'm oversimplifying it, but basically because you're basically saying it's possible for a female protagonist to be attractive without being inherently considered overly sexualized.
Yeah.
Because the issue that the article addresses is that, especially places like Twitter, the second there's a sexy female character, it's I'm being attacked. And
but why are you being attacked?
That's like, but they're kind of saying that that's almost a knee-jerk reaction where but it's the whole Magic Mike versus
I can say that I like totally fell in love with Spike from Cowboy Bebop and was like, that guy's attractive, and it was just. But I think it's really dumb that we're still having this fight when... Isn't it?
When, that's sad.
I mean, multiple video game companies have come out on one being like, no, that wasn't our intent. But, that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen overly sexualized characters, but at the same time, I don't take it as a personal attack on me, because I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, you don't look at it that way where you're just like, this video game company is trying to put me down.
Yeah, they're trying to take me away or something like that. Like, I've never done that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't look like Geralt from The Witcher, but I still enjoy that series. Mr. Josh?
Well, I mean, it also has to do with context, right? Like, we mentioned Lara Croft, and when you look at the reboot, Lara Croft, she looked a bit more average. She still looked very attractive. However, most of the context you see is that she's pretty much in survival mode. She's bleeding, has scars all over the place. You know?
Yeah.
Like, that's not inherently sexy unless, you're into
that
shit. And that's kind of the angle where, Mortal Kombat 11 got some flack because they decided to be, they decided to dress the female characters a bit more modestly than previous iterations of the game, which I find curious because even in MKX, it was still like that same type of path. MK9, though, straight up like cleavage everywhere.
Right.
And I remember I saw a video, I think it was from Sugar Punch, and they brought up a really good point, is that you're looking at this game, Mortal Kombat, where the main, I don't know if I would say appeal, but the thing that stands out about Mortal Kombat is the gore, the fatalities, and things like that.
The hyper-violence, yeah.
Why, it's like, why do you want these female characters looking, dressing scantily clad, and then you're watching them being mutilated?
Is there been a fatality where one of them gets their tits ripped off? Like, I'm actually asking from a serious thing. Has that been in a fatality?
I don't know about like ripped off per se, but I mean probably cut in half or something like that.
Oh yeah, there were some bad ones. Bad isn't good. Some brutal ones. This game, man. This game pushed the envelope on some of them.
Do they still have the one where you literally can you pull out someone's spine by their head?
There's a few of those. There's
those are the ones that get me, that make my hands.
I mean, Cassie has one where she kicks you in the balls so hard that your skeleton pops out of your body.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's got ridiculous fatalities in there, and of course, Dead or Alive always gets the flack, but a lot of people would bring up it's funny that everyone talks about Dead or Alive, boob stuff.
Yeah.
Well, have you looked at Soul Calibur 6?
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
And plus, you can create your own character on there now.
Yeah, and you can customize what they're wearing and stuff like that.
And I'm assuming you can make it pretty dicey on that one.
Yeah, you can loot up some characters in that one.
I just make Homer Simpson in a bikini, but
I do think it does depend on the context.
It does, yeah. Context is very expensive. Yeah. It's expensive. What the fuck am I saying? So I was thinking about buying something. Context is very important, and I agree with you. And I think, again, guys, it's a good read. Definitely check out that article.
I will.
Kotaku's not always unreliable, so it's a good. I think that's where Kotaku excels. They jumped the gun, and I think, even Laura Kate from the Gym Inquisition has gotten in trouble a few times for accidentally reporting stuff early, and I know what it is. It's the journalists and them trying to get the jump, but unfortunately sometimes when you pull the trigger faster than anyone, you get in trouble because it's not true or you report it on a rumor. It's just unfortunately part of the field. It's, are you late to the game or do you risk making a mistake? And more often than not, Laura Kate she quit Kotaku recently, but more often than not, she's reported more accurately. There was controversy on one of the songs in a Japanese game, apparently supposedly having what sounded like, I don't remember if it was homophobic, but it was something offensive lyric-wise, but it turns out it's just English. And she kind of got criticized for not doing full homework and wanting to get the drop on this potentially offensive content and putting that in front of maybe listening to the song more. She made the fatal mistake of when she asked someone to listen to it with her, she already told them what she heard. So unfortunately, puts it in your head, so on and so forth.
So then you start hearing
it. But yeah, no, anyways, I agree. Context is very important, and definitely check out that article. I'd love to hear what you guys think. And, you can always hit us up at the email, which we'll give out later. So there you go. Okay, Fallout 76. We got a few Bethesda things coming out. But Fallout 76, so we talked about it before. They want to cash in on the Battle Royale craze. So before putting in actual content in their game, they wanted to also make sure to go ahead and cash in on that. So there will be a Battle Royale mode. Yet to confirm if there's going to be pay-to-win mechanics, but it is Bethesda, so we'll see. The thing that bothers me about it is the fact that they're going to be adding more cosmetics in the game. Now, Fallout 76's DLC, for the most part, has stuck true to the fact that they said everything will be purely cosmetic. The issue is when you get to the point where they're getting at, where they have a $25 cosmetic. So, DLC would be one thing. Microtransactions are supposed to be just that, right? Micro. They're supposed to be $1 pop here, a $2 pop there. And although that doesn't make it better or good, it still stays within the realm of microtransaction. To me, when you're doing this kind of nonsense where you're doing $25 cosmetics, it's just like, I should be getting this wristband or gauntlet in real life, maybe, and then that would kind of justify the price of paying $25 to also get the in-game version. But yeah, it's bad. It reminds me a lot of back in the day where Evolve, which was a game that had so much potential, Turtle Rock Studios basically got screwed by their publisher overlords at, I believe it was EA. Sorry if I misquoted on that.
2K.
2K. I knew it was someone shitty. It's 2K. Thank you so much. Yeah. But basically what happened
because
they
wanted
Evolve,
all the DLC free, and 2K was like, nah, dog.
Correct. That's exactly what happened. So 2K told Turtle Rock Studios, because Turtle Rock was like, here's our roadmap. It is going to be a roadmap, but it's all going to be free. We don't want people getting gated out of maps or characters, and that's not fun when you can't play with your friend that doesn't have the map pack or didn't want to buy the DLC. So they're just like, we're going to roll the DLC. It's going to be free. Well, 2K didn't necessarily say that they had to do it that way, but they basically told Turtle Rock Studios, look, if your game doesn't pull gangbuster Call of Duty numbers, you're dead. So what it forced them to do is to start making up money where the game was not going to, even with the best of ad campaigns, which it had some good ad campaigns, was not going to make the numbers that 2K ludicrously put out there. So they were forced to turn the DLC and maps into pay. And then on top of that, this is where they were throwing a lot of shit, were doing stuff that were like $15, $20 cosmetics. So yes, it got to that point. Even characters were costing like $20. And of course, they got the scum end of the stick. Back when I had a blog on Tumblr at the time, I actually did do a whole expose piece on separating the blame between 2K and Turtle Rock, and I went into heavy detail. I wonder if that thing's still alive. I might actually link it below, but I did the very thing of taking the heat off Turtle Rock because they were only working with a gun to their head.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason they're making these decisions. Going back to that, Bethesda is far from a small studio, and Turtle Rock they are not. So to put in this kind of nonsense is entirely conscious of an effort. Mm-hmm. What is your guys' take on that? Because, Josh, we've played DOA, which has thousands of dollars worth of DLC. Actual thousands of dollars worth of DLC. Where do you stand on the cosmetics costing a certain amount? Are you in the camp of, fuck it, it's their money, let them do what they want? Or are you in the camp of developers still have to have some sort of like reasonable restraint where they need to stop doing this kind of bullshit?
I'm a little bit in both.
Okay.
Because I do want to support developers, but when you learn that majority of this is just the publisher
Correct.
doing it, that's kind of fucked.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to DOA, I don't know exactly where they, what they do with the money that they get from the season pass sales. I can say one thing that does irk me about DOA 6 is how you have to play modes just to get costume parts.
Ooh.
And you don't, and it's random in regards to which costume you're earning those parts for. So you're gradually unlocking the costume.
And it might not even be the one you want.
Right, and then once you get all the parts, you still don't really unlock the costume. You just get the ability to purchase it.
That's
with your little in-game currency, which you get plenty of. But
that's actually fucked up.
Yeah, it's real dumb.
I didn't know they did it like that.
With the season pass. Yeah, I don't know why, but a lot of people don't like it. I don't like it.
That's bad.
Fortunately, with the season pass, with those, they just give it to you.
So it's one of those. It's one of those
I know,
things where they give you a quote unquote choice.
Yeah, kind of. I know with some fighting games, like with so Street Fighter, for example, when they're having, I know for Evo they'll usually make like a special stage and special costumes, and they say that the proceeds from those sales go towards their Capcom Cup, prize cash payout and all that.
Which, if that's does,
fine.
Good.
NRS did something similar with Injustice 2. They had these special shaders that you could buy, and the sales from that went towards the whatever tournament they were running. Mm-hmm. And I'm fine with that, especially for the fighting game, because the publisher's going to need to get their cut, the company's going to need to get their cut, and eventually with the the esports, somebody's got to pay out.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine with that. If that's really how the money is going towards, I'm totally fine with that. And honestly, I wish NRS would make stages like Capcom did. Because as much as I didn't like, as much as I have problems with Street Fighter V, some of those stages were pretty nice. Mm-hmm. If NRS were to follow suit, I'd totally be down for that.
Right.
But then there's certain points where it's just ridiculous, and so that's a mixed bag for me. We could go on and on.
Of course. But we got you.
Are you buying stuff just to be able to progress through the game faster, things like that? That's really scummy.
Yeah.
Especially, but yeah.
But I guess at least cosmetics you can almost give a pass. Almost.
Most cosmetics, I'm just like, it's okay. I just prefer that there be an option that you can get them in game. So going back with like MK11 right now, every day, or I don't know if it's daily or weekly, but they'll sometimes have certain items that normally you can unlock through the crypt or through the Towers of Time, but sometimes they'll be like, hey, if you haven't unlocked this yet for X amount of, this currency, you can just buy it right here and now, and some of those currency you can earn just by playing the game, but of course you can buy it too, so if I at least have the option, I'm fine with that, because then I can be like, okay, do I really want to put time into it, or do I want it that badly that like, oh, I can pay $5 or $10 and get it,
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Okay. So assuming you don't have impulse control issues or you're addicted to collecting, I got you. The only reason I put that part out there is because I already don't. Yeah, exactly. I already know. I always see what I learned from when John and I do this, and I hear the feedback sometimes. I already know the crowd that's going to actually me. So I always know how to. I just want to pad it out sometimes just to to be like, yes, we know what you guys are going to say already. So just to do that.
Yeah.
Miss Mallory, your thoughts on overly expensive DLC or over amounts of it?
So as long as it doesn't change the game, like, I don't care much about DLC. Like, I mean, I bought all the Call of Duty maps so I could play all the Call of Duty maps. Mm-hmm. But if it doesn't change the game at all, I mean, that's really up to the player.
Okay.
But if it's something like, you have to have this skin in order to play on this map, and it's your favorite map, you know, I'm going to be a little bit more upset.
Right.
But $25 per...
For one, yeah, there's a certain cosmetic that's coming on Fallout 76 that's $25 by itself. It's
Does
like
it,
a suit or some shit.
But does it do anything different? Does it change your game at all?
No,
like,
it's not. It is purely cosmetic. So one can go, well, it's just cosmetic. But to me, it's just like, I don't see $25 justified in it.
No, at that point, I think you, like you said earlier,
even if it
like,
came with a
like
mini quest, like. I still don't think it could just
like
that,
I wouldn't be able.
Yeah, if it did that with a minifigurine, I would at least somewhat justify it.
I wouldn't be able to do it. Yeah. That's why I don't like playing games that have too much DLC.
Because it's tempting.
It's tempting, and also, like...
Overwatch is really bad with that.
That's why I don't play Overwatch.
But
that's where I fall on it.
Okay. Well, Bethesda's faux pas do not stop there. Josh really enjoyed this one. Now, of course... It was the grand opening and grand closing of this meme because they fixed it hours after people were making fun of it into infinity. But the new Doom ports came out for Doom 1, 2, and 3 for Switch and mobile and all that good stuff. Of course, when you tried to play the games, it forced you to log into a Bethesda account.
Yeah.
This, of course, was followed by tons of people ridiculing it to the point where, again, it was already patched. Like, they already fixed that, quote-unquote fixed, as they said it as if it was a mistake. They undid that issue with it like hours after because of the memes. But that did happen. To me, stuff like that, I always want to sit in this boardroom, be a fly on the wall, and be like, how did they not see this coming? Mm-hmm. It's like, how did you guys really think Bethesda .net account is so cool that people are going to be like, oh, they didn't even give an incentive. At least if it was like optionally log in to get the fucking Skyrim helmet or something like that in Doom. It would be like, well, that's kind of annoying and stupid, but at least A, I can skip it, and then B, it gave me something. Mm-hmm. But this one was just actually so they can get traffic to their website. That's all this actually was. So, yeah, to me, it's just, there's no real debate on that one. It's just disgusting.
That's lame.
But Josh did link some good memes in the group chat, so that was pretty funny.
I'm sorry I didn't respond to them, Josh. I was at a wedding, and I was not ready to laugh yet. I was like, no.
No, you should respond to them immediately. Be like, hold on, wedding. Check this out.
Hold on, guys. You need to stop. We just need to pause this wedding for a second.
I know y'all are in the middle of exchanging vows, but look at these lit memes, though.
Hey, Mr. Breeze, let's calm down there with the talking.
Okay, so a couple Overwatch news. We talked about Overwatch a bit last time. The new character Sigma came out. I got shit for this from a person, and some other people were not fond of my criticism of the character. All I said was that the character seems boring. And I made the mistake of making an opinion on social media, to which I was met with, well, how's he boring? And then I explained my reasons, which thankfully the person did kind of just ease off, but... It was one of those things where it's just like, I just said they look boring. Like they got so defensive. They're well, he plays fine, and I go, I didn't say anything mechanically. Not to mention, if you look at the timestamp, there was nothing known about them mechanically when I made that comment. So I was purely commenting on the fact that they look like a bootleg, boring-ass Reinhardt, which I also still stand by. Sigma seems fine. Apparently, functionality-wise, he's pretty good, and unfortunately kind of fucks up the meta of a game a bit where they had to kind of balance the other tanks and other people around him, as happens whenever a new character is introduced in most games.
Yeah.
But he seems fine. Like I said, I still stick by the fact that I think visually he's boring. It's cis white scientist in a Reinhardt suit. It's like, Like, meh.
I kind of like how he's not wearing shoes.
He should be wearing chanclas, that's true, but...
no chocolate.
No chocolates.
That would have been more interesting if he was like a Mexican mom scientist that gravity fucked him up, and now she can throw her chanclas from like miles away. There you got my attention. But until that's a character, I don't know. Any thoughts on Sigma, Josh?
remember when you and I were talking about it, and I even said, like, oh yeah, at first glance, I thought that was Apex Legends.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't seem like an Overwatch character. That's just my thing. I just don't feel Overwatch in it. Maybe his backstory is, but that's not what I said in the thing that the person commented on.
I don't even know in the backstory, dude. Like, I watched that little video. I don't know if that was a trailer, if that was supposed to be, like, the official, like, animated short for him.
That was that weird half-step ghetto one, yeah.
Yeah, compared to, like, every other ones that I've seen, because, I mean, there was a time that I kind of just stopped, paying attention, but it still didn't feel like Overwatch. It's like, oh no, crazy scientist guy.
Mm-hmm. Everyone usually has a zany... There's usually something zany, and in this case I felt that quirkiness was missing.
Yeah. Yeah,
not that every character has to be silly.
This is a game with a hamster in it.
Yeah, exactly. and I think that they need to accommodate to that. Mallory just sent in the chat a picture, and I'm like, I'm rubbing my eyes because she sent me a picture from the Despicable Me guy, and it being Sigma, and I mean, basically.
And then there's two minions underneath his arm, and he's like holding him up. I just found that really funny because I'm looking at his pictures right now.
It's basically Sigma. So yeah. Mallory, you don't really play Overwatch, so I'm assuming not much thoughts on Sigma's fit into the universe or mechanics.
No, I don't play Overwatch just because I played it for a couple of days and then
stopped.
I just didn't want to play anymore. I don't know if it was just like I just didn't like it.
Yeah, and this is the other thing too. This is what I didn't like about that approach is that rather than address my criticism of the character and be like, why don't you like him? The initial thing was, do you even play?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck kind of gatekeeping, pretentious question is that? Like, yeah, I play. Maybe I don't play as much as you, but the issue with that is just like, how is that your... It's not like I said, well, mechanically I feel that he doesn't fit the meta of the current game in the Overwatch League, blah, blah, blah. I just said, yeah, he looks shit. And guess what, buddy? He still looks shit, so didn't get fixed.
Yeah, I don't play a lot of Overwatch. I mean... Like I said, I think I played it for 3 days.
But yeah, it was the pretentiousness of the question that I was just like...
You were like, damn, that's how you get that question.
I was just like, okay.
But, no, I mean, I don't know too much about their characters or anything like that. Like, it wasn't big news for me, so probably didn't listen to any of it.
Right.
But, I mean, he looks fine. I like the fact that he's not wearing... shoes. I don't know why he's not wearing shoes. I don't know why that's bugging me. I don't know why.
Maybe gravity.
But, yeah. That's where I stand. Is I like the fact that he doesn't wear shoes.
There you go. Mr. Josh, you might find this tidbit interesting. A video leaked recently from Overwatch League, a not supposed to be released one yet, and Kaplan, because it leaked already, went ahead and confirmed the news, that they will be adding role locking to the main game. And everything but arcade. So remember how in arcade they stopped the dupe hero thing so you don't have a team full of McCrees or Anas anymore?
Yeah.
They're taking that a step further. Now it's first come, first serve, 2 offensive, 2 tank, 2 support, mandatory.
Really?
I like that because that's how the comp should be. Unless, of course, you do... particularly, there are some people who are going to not like it, and I can understand their gripes because they're going to be like, well, we usually run 3 support because I like to run 3 support, and this support doubles as a...
That would be my concern.
Mm-hmm.
Something around there, like if you are figuring out something in the format, that goes beyond just that. I mean, I get why they're doing it, because it's like, oh, why do we have like
8 DPS on a 6-man team?
Yeah. I mean, I get that, but I don't know. Like, I got mixed feelings on that.
a game like this is so hard to manage because it's never gonna be. Mm-hmm. It's always gonna be disappointing in a way that like I am personally a fan of this until we just talked about it. It's that type of.
Yeah, it's that type of reaction.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's the right idea, but I think they'll eventually have to make variations where it's just like. To me, the thing that just needs to be locked, from my personal experience, is DPS. There just needs to stop. Mm-hmm. Like, that should be capped to, like, 2 or 3. It should just be, like, at least, no more than 3 DPS. At least 1 tank. And then no more than 2 or 3 support. Something like that where it's, like, it's the right idea, but the locking, I think, needs to be a little more flexible than just 2-2-2.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, like we just talked about, there are certain comps that are going to want to run maybe Diva, Reinhardt, and Winston, because Winston's going to try to go through the back door. Mm-hmm. So, I feel that, like, I think it's an interesting development, and I think that they have the right idea, but, I agree with you. I think that the strict 2-2-2 thing is probably not going to be received very well by the masses.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it, Mr. Krabs.
Yep. What I am feeling is that Pillars of Eternity, one of the best RPGs I've played in recent time, especially for those who are fans of that, like, zoomed out RPGs with permadeath and all that fun stuff. Kind of reminds me of the older Baldur's Gate games and stuff like that. Very cool, awesome game that was out of a successful Kickstarter, both the original game and its sequel, and both ended up doing really good. It's going to be ported to Switch. It's going to be coming out August 8th, and it will include all DLC. They're not going to scum you out there on a game that's already complete, so they're going to give you the complete game.
Nice.
So that is a bit of news that I'm excited about. Have you played Pillars of Eternity, either of you guys?
No, I can't say that I have.
It's too many games to play, such a little time. That's the big problem.
There are.
Pretty much.
I know, and I still need to get a Switch, because speaking of RPGs, the new Fire Emblem drops.
Oh, I heard it's pretty good. So
I need to go get it.
I want to play.
Yeah, I do know you like your Fire Emblem Romance of the Three Kingdom waifus. It's not even the right name. It's just going to be like, actually, it's not romance. I know, that was a joke. Something I'm not as hyped about, but when I initially say it, you would think I'd be hyped about, is that the original Monster Hunter from PS1 is being ported to PS4.
Ooh.
Now that would have been cool news, except for the fact that it's not going to have disc swapping. So who the fuck cares? That was actually like the thing that made it cool, is what's going to be on Metallica's Black Album or Magnet's How Do They Work CDs. It's a shame because you can't release a game like that. This has been out in Japan for a while, but it's finally coming to the States, this port. To me, you can't remove the integral part of a game and then still expect people to have the same hype. Like, to me, the game was fine, and it is a good game, like getting the monsters and then running them on your ranch. Go figure, that's what happens in that game. And your battles and stuff like that. But again, one of the main appeals was the hot swapping the discs, and you can't do that on your PS4. All it's going to have is going to fuck up the game. Plus, it's also only digital, so there is no disc.
How are you going to get your monsters now?
I think it's going to be...
Wasn't that how you got them in the original game?
Yes. What had happened is, since the PS1 didn't just stop the game when you opened the disc tray, you would go to the disc reader screen, and you would put in any disc of your choice, whether it be another PS1 game or a CD, and it would generate a random monster. And it would always be based on that. Like Kiss's Greatest Hits would always have this. Black Album would always have that, so it's not even random. Like, it would be on a disc basis. It would just know somehow that this particular disc would always have this monster, so it's kind of cool. It's cool. There were good game facts, game FAQs, whatever you want to call it, guides on what disc would give you what, like huge compendiums of what disc would give you what.
Yeah, I remember looking up game facts for that.
Yeah,
I was curious. I never got to play it, but when I found out about that game, I thought that was a really cool concept. And
and it was great.
I liked how the cartoon kind of played into that as well.
Yeah, it was really, really cool because
like those shrines.
Which is what you did. Exactly. That's what was so immersive about it. But when you make a digital-only version, which has the game, which again is fine, but you're missing that element to it, it's like,
Yeah.
Is it Persona 4 Gold and Shie? Probably. I mean, just But yeah, I mean, again, it's interesting that they're porting it, but I just can't be fucked, because why? Like, I don't know. To me, you're missing that, again, integral element. We were going to talk about the Marvel announcements, which we skipped on the last podcast because it took too long, so we're just going to skip it again. Here's the wrap-up of the Marvel news. A few movies, the rest Disney Channel Plus shit. Like, if you care that much about the MCU, it should be fine for you. If you don't, shrug. And Femme Thor, and that's it. That's the wrap of SDCC. That's basically what happened all in that weekend. Disney Plus. I don't know, I'm just getting tired of all these fucking things forcing you to buy another subscription. Like, that Star Trek show was apparently a train wreck, and imagine all the people who wasted their money on that sub to get that CBS Now or some shit. And it's just like...
Maybe Discovery?
Yeah, Discovery.
I've been hearing some positive things about it. I personally haven't gotten around to watching it, but I've heard some positive stuff, so...
I don't know, what I hear is just watch Orville, so...
Yeah.
The Orville's okay.
Yeah, the Orville's actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, I like the Orville. There are some, but otherwise it's fine.
There you go. Respawn made a comment recently which made me roll my eyes because I just hate it when people do this. Respawn said that Jedi Fallen Order is going to be Sekiro for Star Wars fans.
Oh,
please stop doing this. please, guys, please stop doing this. First of all, Sekiro is already a mixed bag because that was met with a lot of controversy on whether or not Get Good or whether it was unnecessarily difficult. And we're not going to get into that debate because that's a whole can of worms that would go on for 12 years. But especially when you're a direct dev yourself, like this was someone from Respawn, please don't say that. Like, that's actually clickbait article or like pre-gen Facebook spyware ads that say shit like that. Like, a developer should not be doing that. Because to me, when you're saying that already, you've kind of devalued the game already. Because you basically have made and said, we made it like this, guys. You like?
Yeah.
That game was pretty good. You like our version? And not to mention, it looked fucking nothing like Sekiro. So it's like, so you guys, is Respawn going to make it unnecessarily difficult just to try to be like From? We've seen that fail so many times. Yeah. Like, we've seen time and time again games try to be the Dark Souls or whatever. For example, and here we go again, God forbid I give an opinion, I felt Cuphead was in that camp. Cuphead is aesthetically fine, it's good, but I don't think it's really a fun kind of difficult. I think it's like fuck awful difficult where it's just, when I beat it, I have no sense of accomplishment. In the FromSoft games, when I beat a boss that everyone else had an easy time doing and it took me forever, I feel like I worked hard for that and I accomplished it. This, like, games like Cuphead do not give me that feeling of satisfaction. All I go is like, fuck this game. And it's not like it's just not fun difficult, which I think a lot of developers it's such a weird obscured mindset where some people think that, oh, if we just make it difficult for no reason, there's a demographic for that. There is, but it's still that demographic, like that FromSoft crowd still looks for a certain thing. If they didn't, Lords of the Fallen would have done spectacular. But guess what? FromSoft like the feel of that. Something I relate to more are character action games. I'm very critical of them. I always get argued all the time when I talk shit about a character action game that isn't by Platinum or formerly Clover Studio. So basically, if you're not DMC, Bayonetta, or anything like that, I feel that a lot of those games are stiff. They're trying to be DMC Bayonetta-likes, and they're not good because they don't feel good because they're stiff. But people go, well, it was pretty good. But I'm just like, yeah, but when I've tasted Flaming Yone, your Walmart microwave steak tastes like shit. Mm-hmm. And even if it would normally be fine, it's still shit to me because I've had the best. I know what the best is like now. And call that, gatekeeping where I can just say that Platinum's the only one who should be making character action games. Kind of. Pretty much. That's basically what I'm saying. To me, some studios need to stop being like others and just do their thing. Because again, there's too many that are trying to be the Dark Souls of this, and it's just like, would you shut the fuck up with the Dark Souls of this? Like, you're not going to be Dark Souls. Yeah. Stop doing it. FromSoft and Platinum excel in what they excel in because that's them. They did it. They got the equation right first. Time to move on.
Yeah.
It's also just restricting yourself because if they keep saying like, oh, we want this Star Wars game to be like Sekiro, it's like, okay, well, you're kind of removing the potential that you can have for your own shit too.
It is,
like,
and it's
Jedi. You can have so much more freedom making a game about a Jedi.
Yeah.
If you just stick with that rather than being like, oh man, we gotta make this like you're a Jedi with a wooden arm.
We're gonna have roles. I agree, and that's the thing.
And you're just setting yourself up for failure. You're hyping up the expectations, and
exactly,
it's probably gonna tank. You still got that EA label on there.
And here's the sad thing. The sad thing is, Respawn. First of all, BioWare's already in hot water. Like, apparently, they claim that Dragon Age, whatever the fuck now it is alive and well. They claim, with never showing proof, but they just keep reiterating that. Because of Anthem, BioWare is about one more game from fucking getting canceled. So essentially what I'm saying is if the Dragon Age is real and it fails, that could be the end of BioWare. Respawn, they don't really have that same clout. So I feel like EA is even quicker to shut them down. Look what happened to Dead Space and Visceral Games. The first couple of Dead Space games were great. The first one especially was a true survival horror game, one of the first in a long time to actually be a real survival horror game in the AAA industry. 2 started straying from that, and 3 was fucking awful. And guess what? All the things that made it awful were EA's calls, but the penalty was they shut down Visceral, because guess what? They weren't going to shut down themselves. And I feel that Respawn is in the same boat, where I respect Respawn. Titanfall's a great series. Titanfall 2, one of the most underrated gems. Apex Legends, good stuff. If this flops, especially with a license this expensive and this big, I could see EA just immediately shutting them down. Mm-hmm. They're small enough where EA,
what was the last thing Respawn did? Like Titanfall 2?
Apex.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably didn't just mention that. And I'm just
No, you're fine, you're fine. But yeah, before that, it was Titanfall 2, which there was a gap between that. Mm-hmm. And so, exactly. This is one of those boutique companies that do well when they do their own thing. So my point is, the fact that I see the puppet hand going up that guy's ass that said the Sekiro thing. I see the EA exec's hand up that guy's ass. I see Android Wilson from EA being like, yes, they love the Sekiros. The kids that love the Sekiros. This is going to be Star Wars Rose. And it's just like, this doesn't sound like a Respawn type thing to say, because Respawn has always prided themselves on being different. The reason Apex Legends did so well is because they basically said, yes, we learned from our PUBG and Fortnite brethren, and we also learned what not to do because of them, or how to appeal to our own demographic because of them. So they've always been one to be like, we succeed because we stick to our own. It's the first time I've ever heard anyone from that company literally say, we're like someone else. And so it's not a good look for a company that's always been true to self. So it's worrisome.
Yeah.
We mentioned Street Fighter 6 earlier. Street Fighter in general earlier, excuse me. Street Fighter 6 confirmed is not going to be at EVO. It's interesting, right, how at one point Capcom was the EVO circuit, right? But man, especially recently, Arcs is fucking making that paper. Like, with a company that obviously we like so much, and I know you and Vincent, Josh, especially are big Guilty Gear fans and the related franchises. I mean, DBZ Fighters, whatever the fuck it's called, and everything else is just coming up Millhouse. I mean, isn't Cross Tag even pretty good?
Cross Tag's okay. So,
it's just interesting seeing where Arxis was always kind of like maybe had a game in the B-roll or top tier of Evo. It's interesting seeing how it's actually almost like Arxis is Evo now, at least as of right now. So I don't know, it'd be interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of games they're gonna have.
It is, yeah. Do you feel that it's just what it is, or do you almost feel like Capcom should be in the main light at all times, or at least have Street Fighter at EVO?
Mm-hmm. Well, Capcom's in a weird place right now because Street Fighter V, there's so much controversy with that. The launch was bad, and the season, quote unquote, season 4. I don't even know if you can call it season 4. Was very much a flop. Like, a lot of people were let down because all they released was that Kage character, nothing else. So Street Fighter V is in a really weird place right now. And then, of course, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was a flop. I know Maximilian Dude still loves the mechanics of the game.
I think he's the only one
playing the game. No, I mean, there's still people that like the game, and having played the game, the game plays fine.
That's what I've heard. The game plays fine, but the roster's shit.
The roster's not very good. The presentation is not very great. The story is very lackluster.
Do you remember the pre-launch trailer when Iron Man's face was like melting, and like everyone was like, "Why does Iron Man look like that?"
Oh God, please don't remind me.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm bringing up the PTSDs. That was not good times. That's kind of how you knew it was going to shit the bed.
So Capcom's in a weird place because, there's no plans for Street Fighter 6 supposedly now.
Yeah.
So it's a question if they're going to go with Season 5. They still haven't fixed the netcode. They probably never will. Going to ArcSys... Oh, what?
Oh, I was just going to say real quick before ArcSys, in your opinion, because you've been a fan of obviously some Capcom games in the past, do you think if SF5 is just kind of right now, do you think it'd be wrong or insulting for them to just fucking say, you know what, guys, look, we can't save SF5. Let's just move on to SF6. And assuming it's at least a better game, do you think that'd be fair, or do you think they fucked everyone in SF5 enough that they have to fix it?
I think at this point in the game's lifespan, I would totally be fine if they were to just admit their faults and make a good game.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, 5 was a mess. I could go on and on about Street Fighter 5.
Right. but ArcSys, on the other hand,
we're talking about ArcSys.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so for ArcSys, I mean, for EVO, they've always had at least 1 or 2 games for the main events. Maybe not main. They usually have at least one.
At least one. It wasn't Fighter Z was main stage, right?
I'm sorry?
Dragon Ball FighterZ was main stage last year?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So they usually have always had, pre-Fighters, they've usually always had at least 1 or 2 games on the main screen, whether it be, Guilty Gear or Blaze Blue.
Right.
So with the release of DV Fighters, so one thing that really helps ArcSys in regards to that is, 1, they have a very, very popular IP, Dragon Ball.
Of course.
And 2, it's in the hands of Bandai Namco.
Oh, yep.
Like, they're going to take care of that shit.
Absolutely.
They already know they got banks that.
Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job, too.
They already have their own world tour for Dragon Ball FighterZ.
That's awesome.
Which brings me to the next segment, is that Arc System is now finally having their own world tour.
Hell yeah.
It's going to involve Guilty Gear, Under Night In Birth, which has actually been picking up a lot of steam.
I've heard, Willie's been talking about it.
That is, yes, Under Night In Birth, now it's published by ArcSys, right? Like, it's not really developed by them. It's French Spread, I think is the name.
Oh, wow.
But it's still under ArcSys. It's going to be part of their Arc World Revo tour.
That's cool.
And Under Night is really good, and it's kind of like the sleeper hit. A lot of people are starting to pick it up now. So they've got that. They've got Guilty Gear. Hopefully they're going to make another installment. Blaze Blue with Cross Tag, we're not really sure if they're going to do anything with the main line. And then now with Kill la Kill.
Oh, yes!
I haven't had a chance to check out, but they're going to have that at EVO.
That's cool.
As well, from what I've read.
Hopefully it's good.
So ArcSys is in a pretty good place right now.
Yeah. Is Under Night that franchise that has, like, the ridiculous-ass subtitles?
I don't know about that.
Like, I thought it was... There's a franchise out there that's like... I thought it was Under Night. That's like, Under Night, Rebirth, blah, 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 blah. It has, like, all these fucking... All the updates have, like, these...
Okay. Yeah, okay. I get what you're talking about now. Like, yeah. So, like, the current one, the most recent copy is Under Night In Birth, EXE Latest, Late ST, stuff like that.
I know, shit like that.
Okay, I get what you mean now.
Yeah. Okay, that is the one.
Like you keep... Yeah, like, people will call it Uni, and then they had... When it was just Under Night In Birth EX Late, so they called it Unial. Now it's called Unis.
God.
So,
that's great, though. But it's good to hear it's good.
Weird.
The final thing
game.
What I was going to say to wrap that up was, where ArcSys got really smart about it is they're so smart about that auto combo, because it allows very casual players like me to actually still have fun with the game, and then it allows advanced players like you to be able to be like, okay, now where do I want to take this out of this combo? Like, yeah, you can auto combo, I can do this. I feel like I'm doing something, like someone like me, casual, can be like, ooh, I'm doing it. It looks pretty. I'm doing a thing. It's not like some fighting games that have such a high learning curve where I'm just like, I feel very discouraged. I can't just hop in. I just feel like I look like an asshole. I'm just jumping. But the auto combo system in the Arxis games that do have it, I like it because it makes me feel a little more competent while still not babying it too much for advanced players.
Yeah.
It still lets you have, you can still get very good at those games, and I love that. I really think that's smart on them, and I think that helps build their crowd quite a bit, because I think that's where a lot of additional interest came from just the usual fighting game crowd. And like you said, Dragon Ball getting that IP, big wins. Mm-hmm. Big wins. So.
Oh, yeah. Dragon Ball Fighters got so many new players that picked it up. People that would just casually play Smash or Xenoverse, mm-hmm. and they just picked up Fighters. Mm-hmm. And they're going to tournaments and shit for that. So
speaking of Smash, and I know this is just going to throw salt in someone's wound, but did you hear about that? This might have been an old podcast episode I was listening to, but that means that it's sometime in the last 2 years at least. Did you hear about that Smash player? I think it was, which is the one that everyone makes fun of people? Was it Brawl or Melee? What's the GameCube one? Oh, there was the one that Pat kept ridiculing. I want to say it was Brawl. I don't know. And it was one of them.
Brawl is probably the most hated one.
Okay, yeah. It's probably Brawl then. Anyways, I think it was Brawl. So anyways, one of the players was at a tournament, and they were pitching a fit because to play. Oh, was Brawl on N64?
Brawl was on the Wii.
On the Wii? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, anyways, whatever version it was, there was a player who was pitching a fit and was wanting to drop out of the tournament because they needed, whatever system it was on, they needed a controller in which they needed a controller with a defect. And it was a known defect to only be in 1 in every 50 of that system's controllers. That system has since been discontinued, and because of that, you can't really just carry a spare because you got to get really lucky and have that fucked controller. Mm-hmm. And Pat was basically being like, Smash is the only game series where that would even be a thing. He goes, we call that in every other fighting game community cheating. Yeah. He goes, if you have a fucked controller that causes you to do a block both ways or something you're not supposed to be able to do, he goes, that's just fucked up. He's like, this is the only instance I can think of where a series of assholes would actually have it where it's part of the meta to have for certain types of players to have a fucked controller. So I don't know, I found that out and I was just like, that's really weird and interesting that someone was really just like, Smash. You smell and you also have weird requests. At least there's that. Going on real quick, just grazing over Astral Chain. That's going to be out in a few weeks, so people have been already getting their review copies and stuff like that, and people are very, very happy with Platinum once again, and apparently it's got cool co-op, good stuff. Switch is going to have another cool Platinum games on their hand, so I mean, they've been really killing it with the latest Bayonetta on the Wii U and then ported to Switch, now this one, and of course Nier Automata got a lot of people love Nier, so good. It's nice to see Platinum, still doing their thing, and now that they're going to start self-publishing to prevent issues like having to have their sequels on the mercy of certain consoles, Microsoft, they kind of are talking about how they're very excited to start self-publishing because they should be pumping out games without losing the quality a lot quicker because there's less red tape to go through if they're the ones dropping the game as well. Oh, good. So that's very good. Very excited to hear that. Mm-hmm. Now, before we get into the main topic, I do want to say thank you to my these guys are real rappers, not just people that I know next door. Sky Blue and IQ, who I befriended years ago. They're both doing big things. They're under Megaran's label. Megaran has obviously been doing big things, performing at WrestleMania, appearing with the New Day, going into the Guinness Book of World Records. Megaran's doing big. He's getting big, and they're under his label and doing great. Thank you to them. They have actually contributed songs to the podcast as our intro and outro. IQ is going to be doing the outro song, and then Sky Blue is doing the main theme song. Fantastic tracks. Please check them out on all major platforms. They're on Spotify as well as Bandcamp. I'd prefer Bandcamp just because they get more out of that cut, so I'll have their links below. But again, big ups to them. We got some pros dropping us some tracks to use for the podcast, so big developments. Very excited and very happy, and I would just want to give them a big thanks. If they, Megaran and Sky Blue are going to be going on tour in California, so I'm also going to be dropping the info on that. Please check it out, and if you're going to be in those, go see them. Sky Blue is a rising talent. He's got an awesome style, one of my favorites of all time. He was actually my number one choice to ask along with IQ, and they both said yes. So I didn't, I
awesome,
figured
though.
the worst they could say is no, and they both said yes. So big thanks to both of them. Sky Blue has
for sure, that's awesome.
IQ is one of the most. He goes out there. He's this fucking like 6'4" giant, and he is like so passionate about anime. And he just goes up there. I've never heard anyone like do an Attack on Titan rap like that I didn't just giggle at, because he goes up there and man, it's like he's at the actual walls of Maria. And with Sky Blue, he's got a very cool jazzy sound. The production's always super top notch. And he's got some cool stuff, So, again, check those guys out, and thank you again to them for dropping those songs and giving us permission to use them. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. You guys are awesome.
Where can our lovely listeners follow you guys on the internet, Mr. Josh?
YouTube.com/ShiroPlay5, on Twitter @JoshiroJoestar.
Miss Mallory?
/Shiro887.
There you go. And Miss Mallory?
So right now it's Instagram. Got that set up finally at Awesome Mally. And then Twitch is set up, but I haven't streamed yet.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's all for right now.
Okay.
But next week I will have the YouTube, one of my first videos up on YouTube. So
Awesome. So there you go. And then you can find me on SlimAsianEntertainment.com. DisconnectedCast.com. I'm not going to do the feature, Past and Present. Oh, wait, I did. Okay, I did that bit. Okay, so that's a thing. And remember, on this main topic that's coming up, if you guys do want to hit us up, you can either ping us at social media because, attention's nice, or you can email me privately at disconnectedcastmail@gmail.com. And if you say something interesting, I might read your response on the next episode. So the final topic is one that I think we can all kind of relate with, and it's going to be an interesting one. What game has come out, is considered a generally successful game, but you could be fucked less to care about it because you heard too much hype before it came out, and it kind of killed your interest in the game. I'll let you guys go first. I'm going to see if any of the lines up. Mr. Josh, is there a game you've had your friends just or maybe not even friends, but a person that you talked to, just you were just like, I don't even know if I want to get to this game now? That was D&D in the background for anyone who heard that yelling.
That recently came. What?
No, there was someone just screamed in the background during that pause. So I was just letting them know no one's getting murdered. That's just D&D happening in the other room.
Oh, okay.
But
I
ever.
can't, off the top of my head, I can't really think of any games that came out that were hype. I know right now I'm probably the only one that's not excited about Death Stranding. I know that.
Okay, I mean, that's similar of an issue.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I can't get excited about it. I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah, but you're not like head over heels like everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. Like everybody's just like, "Oh man, did you see that ladder?"
Would it now? Maybe not prior to.
Like,
maybe not when it was new, but would you say that you have a similar effect with Final Fantasy VII and everyone sucking its dick all the time? That kind of makes it like it's a good game, but like you're kind of like, hey, it's good, guys, but come on now, can we dial it back a bit?
Yeah, no, exactly.
What about you, Miss Mount? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because. Oh no, I was gonna say because I mean, like most of the games that came out, like I can't really think of anything that. I mean, like Red Dead, Spider-Man,
stuff like that.
I want to check them out. I just haven't got around to it. But yeah, no, I can't really think of anything. Just
okay, we're like, not like that didn't have the Steven Universe effect where you're like, I'm never gonna fight. Oh, I watched it. It's fine. Like it's a good show, but you guys really made me not watch it for years.
It is a good show, to be fair.
It is a good show, to be fair. Miss Mallory, anyone of your friends just be like, oh my god, Mallory, check this out, oh my god, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5 is so good. No, that's a lie. No one ever said that, but for a game that actually ended up being like you were like, you played it and you were like, this is good. What game is there?
I harp on League of Legends a lot because literally that's all my friends would talk about. Like, I remember I had just set up my gaming computer after I moved in from to my mom's house one time. And I was so excited because I was like, I get to game with everybody. And I literally downloaded League of Legends. I played it
And you were like...
3 rounds.
You're like, fuck this game.
And I actually had a wireless keyboard at that time. And my mouse, and I literally handed them to my mom and was like, here's the power cord too. Don't let me play this game. I hate this game. But I was also like, but it's because like all my friends were telling me how to play without explaining how to play. So they were like,
League players.
You need to be in
bottom,
yeah,
jungle,
go there.
Jungle. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, like, and they were like, well, we can give you like side lessons. I was like, I'm no longer interested.
Fuck this
game. So then I just went back to playing Diablo, and I was like, I'm killing the devil again for the, 20th time.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can see League definitely having that. The other thing about League is the misleading trailers.
Yeah. I was going to say that's really funny because that seems to be like a common thing where when people try to get others into League, they're very bad at explaining the game.
God, yes.
Because I remember it wasn't until I actually played it that I understood what the game was.
Well, even when
for some reason, like, people can't seem to explain it. I don't know.
Yeah, even when we did play it, like with Paul and stuff, I remember when like a new season would drop and they had that brand new trailer and all that stuff, and Paul would be getting all hyped. I'm like, dude, the game's nothing like that. Like, the trailer looks badass, but all I'm gonna do is.
Yeah.
I think I killed bots the entire time. Like,
I didn't. Let me last hit these minions.
Yeah, basically.
Then they'd be like, do your do alt. I was like, I don't know what that means. Like, somebody tell me what I'm supposed to press, and they were like Q or S, and I was like, so I probably don't know anything about League of Legends anymore.
Still,
it was horrible. The other that's just for me though. The other game that was overhyped was I bought it and I was so excited. Dragonborn? I want to say that. No,
that's Skyrim.
That's not Skyrim.
It was
Skyrim is one of those games. While she looks it up, Skyrim is one of those games that. Oh,
I thought she said Dragonborn.
I did, but that doesn't sound right.
I don't think it's what she meant though.
It wasn't.
Okay.
Skyrim is one of those games that everyone shits on, but you know what? It's a fun game, especially if you can mod it, and it was a good game. There's a reason it is like, you know what I mean? That's been released 3 million times.
Yeah, I think it's just because of meme. It's just become a meme because Bethesda just keeps re-releasing it all the fucking time.
Oh, I remember it now. So one of the games that came out that like everybody was really hyped about, and I like refused to play because of the hype, was Dark Souls. I refused to play those games because of the hype.
Mm-hmm.
And then
did good though.
Yeah,
you're just bad.
Yeah,
girl gamer.
Come over and talk to me. But then I played it, and I actually had a lot of fun until somebody started telling me what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah,
I was like, you could just let me do this by
That.
myself. Like, it was my brother, and I love him for it. But at the same time, like, he would be playing it and showing me what he's doing, and I'm like, oh, I'm going through this part. And he's like, you shouldn't be doing it that way. And I was like, don't tell me how to live my life there, bro.
You're not my real dad.
I don't know you.
You need to shoot the dragon's tail off so you can get the dragon sword, duh.
Oh, of course. But, you know, like, it just got annoying. And then I wouldn't tell people I was playing it. So they'd be like, what game are you playing? I was like, I'm playing Pokemon Go.
The best way to do anything like that is to go behind that cart, and there's a guy there, and they die. No, don't do that. Only dickheads do that. So, but
I do that to my brother, but that's because he's my brother.
All right, mine and
what's yours?
And Mr. Kyle Reynolds, if you're listening to this, Mr. Video Game amateur developer guy, you're gonna hate me, but it's also kind of why I'm bringing it up because it's also kind of your fault. Undertale. I think that's on a lot of. That's probably one of the most common ones. Is actually the ones I read in this thread. Undertale is a really fun RPG that has great catchy music and some very interesting characters, and the storyline is kind of fucked up. Pretty good game overall. It's like Earthbound for Americans, right? And it was a good game, but God, it took me forever to get to. I just got to it like 3 months ago, and it was good, but I wanted to stay the fuck away from that game, because all I heard, especially on fucking Tumblr, was just like, dude, fucking Undertale is like the Martin Scorsese film of video games.
I forgot about this one.
It's so good, and I love it. When I'm not crying about politics on here, I play Undertale. Because, like, the politics in Undertale are relatable. Because they're not real. Anyways, it's one of those things that, like, I'm just like, it's fine. Like, it's a good game. Like, I would probably fairly give Undertale the very controversial score of 7 out of 10, which is what I got crucified for giving Breath of the Wild.
Which is a good score.
That's the thing. It's just everyone else's 10 out of 10, so they just want to get mad. It had its shortcomings too. For people who aren't into that kind of old school RPG, it's like first person turn based. They have cool mechanics where you have to kind of figure out what does this boss or what does this enemy, how do you beat them? Because it's not always just brute forcing. You can brute force a lot of them, but there's several endings depending on how you play the game. I'm not going to spoil that. But just know that that's just a commonly known thing. But yeah, that was one of those games where just the hype and the soundtrack's great. That's one of my favorite things. I actually still listen to the music sometimes on YouTube and just be like, oh yeah, I want to remember when I enjoyed this for a little bit. And the characters are interesting. And again, there's some fucking developments that go on in that game. But again, it took me forever to get to it. Like 2 years actually, I believe it was, to get to it. And it's because I get it, when you harp on a thing like and you go on and on and on, because yeah, that's how it is. Like, it's when I talk about the Yakuza series and I just fucking go on and on about it, and some people play it and they don't actually like it. That'll be a thing. That always will be. But overwhelmingly, I was really, really turned off by how much I had to fucking keep hearing about Undertale. So for me, that was it. And I ended up playing it. That's more than some people can say about games that they kept away from. There are some games that people were kept away from and still stay away from it to this day. So there's that. Alrighty.
I actually still have not gone around to Undertale.
Yeah, I think you'll really like it, but you'll be like,
yeah. So I did think that the question was in regards to games within like this past year.
Oh no.
When I heard like the other answers, I will say stuff like PUBG and Apex Legends.
Okay, yeah.
Like
that's to be fair.
Like those, yeah. I never got into PUBG.
The battle royale
Apex
craze
Legends.
in general, probably.
Yeah, battle royale games.
Wait a second, you weren't flossing in Fortnite with the kids?
You weren't doing those crazy
No, I
dance
played the
moves?
PvE of Fortnite. That was fine. That was okay.
I've heard, and I think that was what more. I think we talked about this last episode. That was more to like the original design, I believe.
Yeah, for me, it was a lot more fun too.
Yeah. Well, I was about to say stuff about Fortnite, but I'm not. So that's the episode. We'll see you guys. Oh yeah, for those of you wondering who are still here, wondering why the episode aired on a Thursday, I believe, it's because the bandwidth got capped on our website, so we actually have to wait because there was technically an extra day this month that the podcast was going to drop at the end. So it got a little caught up, so I had to release it late. But the good thing about that means that you guys are listening, so our metrics have been really good. So everything's going good on there. Primarily, our main traffic, other than the website being downloaded directly, because I guess you guys find that convenient, is the Spotify. So that's been our main outlet otherwise. So thank you guys for checking us out on there. We were recently added to radio.com, so we're on a lot of places. There's probably I think there's 8+ platforms that we're on now. So definitely give us a listen if you do get the chance on your platform of choice. And as always, we will see you guys, with the exception of this time where it was Thursday, on Monday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Until the next episode, we will catch you guys then. Until then, see ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye.